Hello, everyone, and welcome to another conversational English lesson. And today we're going to be talking about how to respond to that question that people might ask you as you're maybe going for a hike in the woods. Look, do you see? Look, do you see? Let's get started. Now, this is probably a question that you have already heard a number of times from your English-speaking friends, but just in case you haven't, we should maybe talk about what it means. Look is to look and see something, right? Look. Do you see? Do you see? So they're asking you if you can see with your eyes the thing that they see. Someone might ask, do you see what I see? And today I thought it would be fun to talk about some of those things that you might see if you were to go for a hike in the forest with your English-speaking friends. As you're walking down the path, the trail, they might ask you, oh, do you see that tree? Do you see that tree? That tree. They're wanting you to see a very specific tree among hundreds of trees that you're walking through. So they might say, oh, look, do you see that tree? If they just said, do you see the tree? And you look around and you might say, well, yeah, I see a lot of trees. So they might say that tree. But most of the other examples that we have here will use the word the. For example, we might say, oh, look, do you see the bird's nest? Look, do you see the bird's nest? How you should respond is, if you see it, say, yes, I do see the bird nest. Yes, I do see the bird nest. But if you can't see it, you're looking around and, oh, you just can't see what they're talking about, well, then you would say, no, I don't see the bird nest. And you can use either one of those responses to any of these questions. Do you see? Yes, I see. No, I don't see. I don't see the bird's nest. You might follow it up by saying, where is it? Where is it? Another one might be, do you see the squirrel? Do you see the squirrel? That one is a hard one for English students. Even my own children, as they grew up, sometimes had a hard time saying squirrel. Squirrel. Can you say that? Squirrel. Do you see the squirrel? Do you see the woodpecker? Do you see the woodpecker? A lot of times with woodpeckers, you hear them before you see them. When you're walking through the woods, you might hear a little rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat. And you know the sound is probably a woodpecker, and so you start looking, and oh yeah, you spot it. Look, do you see the woodpecker? Do you see the woodpecker? It's a beautiful bird that pecks into the dead branches of trees to find insects. Woodpecker. Do you see the rain clouds? The rain clouds? Do you see the rain clouds? Do you see the rainbow? Do you see the rainbow? And you know, when it's something as beautiful as a rainbow, they might include that when they say, oh, look, do you see the beautiful rainbow? The beautiful rainbow? Here's another one that's nice to see in the woods. Do you see the deer? Do you see the deer? Do you see the lake? And this is always nice on a hike. You're going down the trail, you come to a little clearing, and right there is a beautiful lake. Do you see the lake? Do you see the flowers? Do you see the flowers? One of the things that we really like about hiking in the woods at different times during the summer is to see different kinds of wild flowers. Wild flowers. These are flowers that just grow up naturally in the forest, and they usually come up at different times in the summer. And so each week that you go out, you might see a different type of wild flower. Do you see the flowers? Do you see the acorns? Do you see the acorns? Often when you're walking down the trail, you'll come across at the base of an oak tree all of these beautiful acorns. Do you see the river? Do you see the river? Do you see the waterfall? Yes, I do see the waterfall. Or, no, I don't see the waterfall. I can hear it, but I don't see it. Where is it? Do you see the mountains? Do you see the mountains? The place where I grew up had a lot of beautiful mountains, and I really enjoy hiking near the mountains. And so when you come to a clearing, you might see a beautiful mountain range. And so that is something I hope that every one of my students can experience sometime, is to hike in a place where there are some mountains to see. Do you see the mountains? Do you see the mountains? Do you see the moon? Do you see the moon? Do you see the trail? Do you see the trail? A few weeks ago, we were hiking in a park here in Canada, and when we got to the park, there was a big sign that said that these trails are closed. But we thought, well, we've been hiking here so many times in the past, I think we can just go ahead. And so we went down the trail, but it wasn't too long before we came across parts of the trail where the trees had fallen on the trail. We scrambled up over top of the trees and kept going on the trail, but then it got worse and worse until we couldn't even see the trail anymore. And so we were asking each other as we were wandering through the bush, the woods, we were asking each other, do you see the trail? Do you see the trail? A few years ago, my two older daughters and I decided to take a road trip through California, the California coast. And if you haven't had the opportunity to do that, I would really make that something that you should put on your bucket list. Have you ever heard of that? Your bucket list. Something you should do before you die is to go on a nice road trip down the coast of California. And we stopped in the beautiful Redwoods. These are the biggest trees in the world, the oldest trees. Some of them are 1,000 years old or more. One of the places where we got out and hiked, we saw these beautiful ferns. Do you see the ferns? Do you see the ferns? And then a few moments later, we were hiking a little further down the trail, and we came to a spot where the sun was peeking through the trees and creating these beautiful sunbeams. Sunbeams. Do you see the sunbeams? Do you see the sunbeams? Yes, I do see the sunbeams. They're beautiful. Do you see the signpost? Do you see the signpost? Sometimes when you're hiking, you might get a little bit lost. But if it's a good park, somebody has probably put up some signposts to help you get back to your car in the parking lot. The trail, you might even have a trail map, and the signpost will help you know how to get back to your car. Signpost. Well, that's it for our lesson today. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you learned about the question, do you see, and how to answer, yes, I do see, or no, I do not see, so that next time that you go hiking with your English-speaking friends, you will know how to respond. And I'm hoping that you also learned some vocabulary today. I don't know if you have ever noticed it, but lately I've been putting all of the vocabulary words that we learn in each lesson, I list them in the description below. I don't know if you've ever noticed that just below the video there's a little section there that talks about description, the description of the video, and there I put a list of all of the vocabulary words that we learn for any lesson. And that might make it easy for you just to go and copy and paste all of the vocabulary words for that lesson. Maybe bring them into Google Translate and get the equivalent word in your language. And then you might make flashcards where you put the English on one side of the card and the word from your language on the other side of the card. And that way, even as you're walking through the woods, you can be studying English by looking at your cards. And with that, I wish you farewell, and we'll see you next time here at Study English with Frank. So long for now.